Y'all, this is my first time going live this way. And so if you can hear me, if you're there and you can hear me, if you could give me a thumbs up or send a little comment or something, that would be great. Because y'all, this is my first time going live this way.
That everything is working as it's supposed to be.
So if you can hear me, if you're there and you can hear me, if you could give me a thumbs up or send a little comment or something, that would be great. Because y'all, this is my first time going live this way.
That everything is working as it's supposed to be.
So if you can hear me, if you're there and you can hear me, if you could give me a thumbs up or send a little comment or something, that would be great. Uh-oh, I'm hearing myself echo. That's not a good sign and in the wrong place. Excuse me while I troubleshoot. That one. Actually. Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. Excuse me while I troubleshoot. And play through. Well, I'm just trying to make sure the sound is right because it sounds weird on my side. Okay, so I also dropped a link for everybody. So if there is a time where you want to hop in and talk, whether it's right now or later on, feel free to jump in to the conversation. We're going to be talking today a little bit about anxiety and intuition. I have experienced and still do experience a lot of anxiety. And I have had to kind of figure out ways to cope with it. And so I just wanted to kind of share some of my story today, maybe give some other people the opportunity to share their stories as well. Because I know sometimes I feel like I'm alone and I feel like I'm the only one who experiences things like this. And I know that's not the truth. And usually it's when I open up and share about what I'm going through, that's when people come out and they're like, I know what you're talking about. I've experienced this too. And so yeah, I really just want these lives to be a space where we can all come and we can talk together. And so yeah, recently, what got me thinking about anxiety versus intuition, I was having a conversation with my husband, as I often do, and he looks at me and he goes like, I was having a hard day. I was having a really hard day. And he looked at me and he was like, babe, when's the last time you just had fun? And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, when's the last time that you had fun? Not with me or anybody else, just like by yourself, not doing something productive, just having fun. And I was like, I don't, like, people do that? Is that a thing that people do? Because fun.
Test.
And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, is that a thing that people do? Because I don't do that. I guess I haven't done that. And I didn't realize that for a long time, I stopped having fun and I was only doing things that I felt were productive. I was only doing things that I thought led to some sort of destination. And so I realized that I needed to figure out why, because fun is very important in life and I wasn't having any. And I talked about it in therapy with my counselor, and I realized that I was avoiding the things that I enjoyed the most because I was anxious about them, because I wanted to do them perfectly. Like, I hadn't done anything with music, listening to music, singing in a really long time, and it was because every time I did something music related, I felt like it had to be perfect. Or I hadn't done anything with YouTube for a really long time because I felt like anytime I did anything with YouTube, it had to be perfect. And so I was challenged to just do something. Just do something that makes you anxious and see how it goes from there. So I've been kind of on my own little journey, I guess, with just learning about anxiety and how to overcome it. And I wanted to share with y'all some of the things that I've been learning thus far. So before we dive in deeper and talk about like what anxiety is and how to overcome it, before we dive into how to overcome it, I wanted to dive more into what anxiety actually is, because I think it's a word that we use often, but may or may not know what it actually means and where it comes from. So anxiety is it's a feeling of worry and nervousness, and it's usually linked to the future. It's a nervousness about something that we're uncertain about, an outcome that we're uncertain about, something that happens in the future. And there's no immediate threat, but if you're like me, you want to know about everything. You want to have all the information so that you can then go and make the best decision possible. And how do I make the best decision possible if I don't know what's going to happen in the future? And so that's always been my issue, is there's no way to know about the future, but I want to know about the future to make sure that I make the best decision possible. And that just is not how it works, unfortunately. But that's what anxiety is. It doesn't have to do with I'm in danger right now. That's usually like a fear response. It's something that's causing you no immediate threat. So there's, can cause persistent worry, racing thoughts. You have trouble concentrating. Anytime I'm anxious, I have a really hard time just like focusing in on and doing work. Obviously, you might feel a lot of fear. Sometimes you might have stomach issues. Like there's all kinds of things that anxiety affects. If you're a procrastinator, that usually originates from anxiety. So triggers can be anything from stress at work. It could be health concerns, really big life changes. But as I found out, triggers can also just be like, I want this thing to be perfect. I think a lot of anxiety is triggered by like perfectionism. At least for me, it's triggered by perfectionism and wanting to be good enough and not feeling good enough. And then freaking out about not feeling good enough, not because that's based in any type of fact, but because there's just so much fear about what if I'm not good enough. Type something in the comments. If y'all can hear me clearly, can you just type something in the comments? I'm wondering if I can even see comments, because I want to be able to see comments. I really want to be able to interact with y'all. Let me also pull up. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any comments coming in here, but feel free, comment. And if I see anything, I'll answer and I'll comment back. But anyways, so yes, triggers can be stress at work, personal relationships, health concerns, major life changes. If you've experienced any of those, like, let me know. If there's other things maybe that I haven't listed that tend to cause you anxiety, it'd be interesting just for you to think about what causes me anxiety. Something that's weird for me that causes me anxiety is having a scheduled meeting. If there's a meeting on my schedule, I get so much anxiety about whether or not I'm going to make it to the meeting on time. And one of the ways that I have kind of alleviated this anxiety a little bit is just by setting a timer. But that's a weird thing that I get anxiety about. So we talked a little bit about anxiety, but what is the opposite of that? What is not necessarily the opposite of that, but what is intuition, right? Because anxiety is when kind of a fear of the future is leading us. What is different when we allow our intuition to lead us? When we are being led not by fear, but by intuition. So what is intuition? It's the ability to understand or know something immediately. So intuition is not necessarily logical. In fact, it's usually not logical. You can't usually explain why you're having these feelings about something. You just know. It's just that knowing. Like, it's a gut feeling. You're just like, this is the path that I need to take, or I need to stay away from that place, or I don't know why, but I don't like this person, or I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with this person. Like, those are just split reactions. And even though we can't usually logically explain them, we usually have these feelings of intuition because our subconscious has picked up on a lot of different signals and cues, and our subconscious brain works faster than our kind of conscious brain does. So recognizing intuition is a little bit harder because intuition is a lot quieter than anxiety, which we'll talk more about later. But intuition often comes as a sudden understanding or knowledge that something feels right. So what you'll want to look for that is like a thought or an idea that pops into your mind out of nowhere, just like, yeah. Intuition is usually a calm and clear feeling. So whereas anxiety, if you're being led by anxiety, you're usually feeling like things have to happen right now, really, really anxious, I don't know what to do, and you're probably heightened. Intuition is more of a calm voice. It's more of a soft voice. It's more of a pleasant or neutral voice, and it's not going to, make you freak out. It's going to give you some level of clarity. And one thing that I do want to say is clarity does not mean that there's no fear attached. So you can be clear that you're meant to do something, or clear that there's a specific path that you're meant to take, and still have fear around taking that path. But that's just because you've then started to overthink about what you have felt. You're then starting to overthink about that intuitive download that you've gotten. So that's the difference. There's just the immediate knowing, and then there's the overthinking part. Let's see. Yep, we kind of talked about that. So intuition also is more consistent and doesn't waver over time. So even after you've had time to reflect on something, if there's a feeling or thought that remains, or a passion that is just persistent, that's how you know that it is your intuition, that it's not just something that was from anxiety, or not something that maybe was just like a hope or a whim, but an actual deep intuitive feeling. And intuition, again, it's not filled with fear. You're not going to have a fearful feeling when you have an intuitive thought. You're going to feel peace and clarity. Now, you might start overthinking later on, but that's a different thing. That's when your anxiety starts kicking in. So how is fear and intuition different? So intuition is, again, it's subconscious, and essentially your brain is recognizing patterns really, really fast, and your conscious brain can't even pick up on it as fast as it's processing. Whereas anxiety is from either conscious or subconscious fears. So it can be fears of things that you've experienced in the past. And so that has then informed your present. And so you're anxious about it. Or, and a lot of times that's unconscious, because that's just your past experiences. And you don't even always know that those experiences are being brought into the now. And then another difference that we've talked about is just how they are and how they sound emotionally. Intuition is going to have a positive or neutral tone, and anxiety is going to be more like fear, worry, dread. It's really, really intense and overwhelming, and it impacts your ability to think clearly. Decision making, intuition can usually lead to quick, confident decisions, especially when you trust your intuition, whereas anxiety is going to have you overthinking, and you're like playing around with things in your mind over and over again. Is this the right decision? Is that the right decision? I don't know what to do. Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I not? Intuition provides literally leads to decisions that are going to they're going to align with your values and your long-term goals. And anxiety can lead to decisions that are kind of short-sighted, and maybe you are just fearful of something, so you try to hurry up and do something right now, and you maybe missed another opportunity and have some regret over the decision that you made. The last thing that I want to jump into before I get into some comments to see if there are any, because I'm on a platform, y'all, but it's new to me. I wanted to try it out and see how I liked it, and I'm not seeing comments. It might be because there are none there, so maybe it's that, but I also just want to go and double check on the actual platforms themselves to see if anyone is saying anything, because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. But if I'm not missing anything, and I'm, then that's fine. Practical steps to recognize intuition. So how can you actually get to the point where you're able to hear the quiet voice that is intuition? Because again, where anxiety is really, really loud and overpowering, intuition is usually a more quiet, stable, calm, loving voice. So if you think about being in a room full of people, it's usually the loud one that you're going to hear. The loudest one is not necessarily the right one or the one that you want to follow. Whereas, that quiet voice, I know we all have those friends that are really quiet, but when they say something, it's profound and people listen. That's your intuition. So things that will help you be able to hear your intuition: mindfulness, practicing mindfulness, or meditation. Meditation does not have to be you just sitting in a room, silent, by yourself. Meditation is anything that brings you into the present moment. It takes your brain out of the past, it takes your brain out of the future, and it brings it to the present moment. So, ways that I bring myself back to the present moment are with physical activity. So walking is a big one for me because it gets me out. It literally gets me out of my head and into my body because I'm moving. Sometimes I will clean. You can journal. You can work on something that requires you working with your hands, like making arts and crafts, making some type of jewelry, drawing, coloring, just something that gets you focused on the present moment. Something else I like to do, I'll sit out in nature and just try to pick out how many sounds can I hear, how many different birds. Oh, a car just went down that street. Oh, I hear this bug making a sound over here. The wind is blowing. I'll just maybe close my eyes and try to listen for as many sounds as possible, because that's bringing me to this present moment as opposed to having me, all over the place. And another thing is to just have fun. Like, what do you enjoy doing? And sometimes this is a hard question to answer. One thing that I thought about, and something that you can ask yourself, is what did you enjoy doing as a kid? That's usually a great place to start. When I was in a time in my life when I really, really wasn't having any fun, which was even worse than, I guess, this more recent time when I wasn't having any fun, I started asking myself, what did you enjoy doing as a kid? And I went back and I read all my favorite childhood books. I started with Harry Potter. I feel like I was so deprived at the time that I read the Harry Potter books the first time, but I really wanted to listen to the audiobooks because I had always heard that they were really good. And so I started listening to the first audiobook. Y'all, I almost cried. I got teary-eyed, just this is amazing. I can't believe I'm listening to this audiobook. It's so it was just such a magical experience for me. And I just feel like it took me back to my childlike self. And something else that I did I've tried like skating or drawing or doing arts and crafts. I would make a meal just for myself. I noticed that I always would cook for other people. Back then, I was always cooking for other people. I would not really put time and effort into cooking for myself. I would just throw some stuff in a pan and saute it up and cook for myself. So something else that grounds me and centers me is if I am cooking, not because I have to, but because I want to. And I take my time and I put some music on and I have a good time with it. So I think those are some really great ways to kind of switch your mind from a place of being anxious. Once you notice that you're feeling anxious, once you start recognizing what anxiousness feels like in your body and can kind of like, okay, I'm feeling anxious and I'm now going to like put my plan into place. Like I have a kind of an anxiety plan. Like what do I do if I'm feeling anxious? Usually the first thing is that I go on a walk. Like, have I drunk some water? Let me take a sip of water. So get your anxiety plan in place. And I'm going to be continuing to make different videos and resources for y'all to be able to utilize for this. But I'd really love to take questions and see if there's anyone who wants to hop up here and share their experience. I shared a link where you would be able to click that link and come. Hi! Oh, how are you doing? Okay, so I can see comments. Oh, this is so interesting. It shows where it's sending my comments to. Did you have any questions? How have you been? You're like day one girly. And the fact that you're still around, it makes my heart so happy. You have no idea. I'm going and like checking all of the things, even though I think that just confirmed for me that I can see when people do comment. I don't know if I can see when people request to join or not. I'm great, YK. Does that mean like I'm great, you know? That makes me feel really old. What does the YK mean? How are you? I'm good. I'm doing really good. I feel like so many changes since the last times when we were doing these types of, well, we weren't even doing these types of live feeds. I was talking more about natural hair, but I'm doing well. You may or may not know, I don't know, but I'm married now. I got married in October, and so I've been kind of getting used to being married. It is like, it's challenging, but like the funnest challenge ever. I heard someone compare marriage to, or like relationships in general to, okay, so it is, YK is, I thought so, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm out of touch. I don't want to assume that that's what it means. But yes, I heard someone describe marriage as like, it's like a painter painting an artist. An artist painting a painting. It's like an artist painting a painting. And they were saying that, when you're an artist and you're trying to paint a painting, it is challenging, but it's a challenge that is worth it. It's a challenge that's worthwhile. It's a challenge that, excites you and it's fun. Marriage is that kind of challenge. And I think a lot of times when people describe marriage, they're like, the old ball and chain and I'm in jail. And I don't know. I just don't feel that way. We'll be married 1 year in October. Thank you. Thank you. What are some, Gianna, what are some other things that you think would be good for us to talk about on these live feeds? Also, I want to give a shout out to, I believe is it Melanie? because Melanie made my life last week. Let me see. Gianna, I don't think you were on last week, but Melanie was here, and yes, you'll love the picture. Yes, you'll love the picture. I don't know what that means. I forgot what I said in relation to that. Oh, you'll love the picture like the artist. Yes, you'll love the picture. For sure love the picture. And taking the picture. Let me see. But last week, it's Melody. When I got the nerve, I was like that. I'm so glad you hopped on. I'm so glad to see you. Last week, Melody was here, Gianna, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna show up, and I was so nervous. And she was here, and she just stayed around, and she was chatting with me and stuff. I think the chat is delayed. It is delayed. I don't know how delayed it is. When you reach this part right here, say, I don't know, because maybe the chat is delayed too. But anyways, last week Melody was here, and I was so nervous. Melody, she messaged me on Instagram, or commented on Instagram, and said that she couldn't make it today. So in case she watches this back, I'm giving you a shout out, because you're amazing and you're awesome. And even just seeing that you cared enough to say that you couldn't make it really just made my heart happy. My husband was like, somebody responded to your post. I was like, really? And then I saw his Melody. I was like, oh, wow. And now this time Gianna's here. This is making my heart so happy. I'm so happy to see y'all. Wow, just now, that was like a solid maybe 30-second delay. That's a super delay right there. Okay, that's good to know. I wonder if there's any way to make it not be so delayed. For anyone who's just joining, we were talking about anxiety versus intuition. And if anyone has any experiences that they want to share about anxiety or intuition, let me know. You can comment, or there's a link wherever you're watching this stream. There should be a link where you can click on the link and come up and join and hang out with me and talk on camera, or you can turn your camera off. It's up to you. But we're going to be doing this every week on Fridays at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. I feel like Disney Channel. Do y'all remember growing up and they were like, Cheetah Girls at 8, 7 Central? And I remember being a kid and being like, what does that mean? 8, 7 Central. But I know now. And in Sister Circle, we go live at 7, 6 Central. And something else that I want to tell y'all about is I want to be able to every week. Yep, every week. Esteban Roca. Every week. Did I say that right? Is it Esteban? Esteban? Yes, Disney. I was a Disney Channel girly. But yes, every week we're going to be going live here. I want to hear from y'all different things that y'all want to cover in this. But something else that I'm going to be doing is a Discord channel. And I don't know if my brain. I don't know if people really use Discord like that, especially women. I feel like I hear gamers using Discord. But one of my friends was telling me about Discord and just talking about how they were able to communicate with their friends there and really build community there, and how they could have group video chats there, not online, but more private video group chats there. And I thought that was so cool, and I would love to be able to do that, because I feel like you can't do that with Facebook groups. With Facebook groups, it's again, it's just going to be me up here talking to myself. And while I can be up here talking to myself, I would much rather be like talking with some people and getting to know people more. And so whether it's, I have a Discord link, wherever you're watching this, there should also be a Discord link in the description. But and that's where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna turn my little notifications on my phone. That's another thing that brings me anxiety. Notifications, y'all. But I'm gonna turn my notifications on for Discord. That's gonna be the only app that I have my notifications on, is for Discord. So if you join my Discord, you're gonna have my like. That's what I'm prioritizing communicating on, because these other apps stress me out a little bit, and notifications stress me out. When I get notifications, I get anxious. Or when I'm like sending, like even getting like text message, YouTube is better. Esteban, you think YouTube is better? But I can't talk to y'all on YouTube. I mean, I guess I can talk to y'all in the comment section, but I would love to see y'all's beautiful faces and hear your like voices as well. But if you think YouTube is better, I think I'll always stream on YouTube. I'm going to always be making sure I stream on YouTube every Friday, but like in between, like not just on Fridays, other times, if we wanted to like just talk or hang out or, I don't know, send memes, send funny videos. Yes, the notifications. It's the notifications, and I think it's the expectation that comes with the notifications that stresses me out sometimes. You're a do not disturb girly. I have like work mode, and I have personal mode and sleep mode, and my phone is like work mode all day. It goes from sleep mode immediately to work mode, and then I think there's like an hour or two of personal where anybody can get through, and then it's sleep mode again. And there's a handful of people that can get to me during that time, and even notifications that I need to get, I schedule them. So I get scheduled notifications like 3 times a day, I think, and usually I just like kind of look through them and see if there's anything. This is so bad. I feel so bad saying this, because the way that we text and the expectations around text messages is that you're supposed to respond to them immediately. But I feel like that's what brings me anxiety, is because you texted me, I have to respond to you immediately. And because you texted me, because you want my time, I'm obligated to give it to you, and to give it to you immediately. And I just don't think that makes sense. One time my best friend apologized because she took long to text back. I was like, girl, don't apologize to me. I do not own you or your time. You respond when you want to, or not at all. It's not, we're going to be friends regardless. If I don't get a response and it's been too long and I think something's wrong with you, then I'm going to be calling you. But otherwise, if you get busy with life or something, that's okay. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to be doing the lives every Friday. And then after that, outside of the lives on Friday, I want to be in the Discord channel so that we can talk about things. Maybe y'all can tell me other topics that... Gianna's laughing at me. Maybe y'all can tell me y'all, I want to know topics that you're interested in, because I want to make sure I'm doing relevant topics. Right now, I'm kind of just trying to go through and think about what's relevant to me. And I don't want to just repeat the things that I talk about in videos, even though maybe that would be fine to do. But I don't know. I'm always like, and I'm trying to post a video every day. I'm not trying. I am posting a video every day for the next, at this point, I'm like partially a way through it. So OG people, Gianna, you know this. I've done 30-day challenges in the past. And with my 30-day challenge, with my first 30-day challenge, that's how I like really built my channel. And but then that's also kind of how I wrecked my confidence, because one of my videos, it went baby viral. I just feel like it was just like it got some views, and with some views comes some hate, like a lot of hate. And so then I kind of stopped. Plus, I burnt myself out the way that I did the 30-day challenge that first time. I'm thankful that I did it because it got me out of my comfort zone, and it really got me acting, like it got me out of a state of anxiety. That's why I'm doing it this time. These 30-day challenges get me out of anxiety and into action, because I don't have time to overthink. I just have to produce. I'm like, I have to make sure that there's a video posted tomorrow. I have to make sure there's a video scheduled for tomorrow. I don't have time to waffle around about what do I do the video on? Does the thumbnail look perfect? And like, I don't know, is it formatted perfectly? Is everything edited exactly the way I want it? I don't have time for that. Is this the perfect title? I just have to do and go. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I learn, but I learn more quickly. So I'm doing another 30-day challenge, but this time the subject matter, or procrastinate. I don't have any time to procrastinate at all, because it has to be done now. Usually for me, it's the anxiety that leads to the procrastination. I'm just like, I procrastinate by researching more. I research more, and I try to like tell the future. I've tried to be a fortune teller and tell like, is this going to be perfect in the future when I do it? Are people going to like this? There's no way for me to know. So I just need to do it. But I get so in my head about it. So I actually got an intuitive download to do a 30-day challenge. And I feel like this was the first time that I did a 30-day challenge. Well, I don't know. The first 30-day challenge, I'd say, was also an intuitive decision. This one, I feel like I tried to do a second 30-day challenge. That one I did not end up finishing that one. I don't think. I remember getting some backlash during that one because people were like, you just sat in one place in one outfit and recorded a bunch of half-ass videos. And I was like, oh gosh. But then I thought about it and I was like, I mean, there was good information in those videos, but also there was not any passion behind those videos. So I was like, okay, they're not all the way wrong. I'll take that feedback. I'll eat that. And so I kind of disappeared for a little while longer. And then I came back and I was like, well, I'm back this time. And I was just sitting on the couch and I was like, I should do another 30-day challenge. Because I've been wanting to do more with YouTube and do more with not just natural hair, but things about like coming of age and adulting and just figuring life out in general. Because I remember being younger, and even now sometimes just really wishing that I had a big sister. I'm the oldest child in my family, so I am the big sister, and we can get into a whole lot of stuff about that, about even what it means to be a big sister and how I beat myself up so many times for feeling like I'm not a good enough big sister. But I remember wishing that I had a big sister and wish that I could ask her just questions about life, about her experiences, about how do I do this and how does that work, and did you go through this too? And when you went through it, what did you do? And so I kind of just want to be able to, the hair doula. That was back in my hair doula days. Exactly. A literal OG. One day I'm going to talk about those hair doula days. And there's only going to be a small itty bitty amount of people who know about that, because that's throwing it back. The reason that I changed from that hair doula brand is because I knew that I wanted to expand from that. And so that's why I changed it to Dasha like Sasha. I didn't want it to just be my first and last name because I knew eventually that my last name was going to change. But and then people kept calling me Dasha, Dashay, and all kinds of other stuff. So I was like, if my name is Dasha like Sasha, no one's going to say Dasha like Sasha or Dashay like Sashay. They're going to say Dasha like Sasha. Same, but I do have a big sister, but it's not really, like, it doesn't really feel like it. Yeah, why doesn't it? Well, I don't know. If you feel like sharing, why doesn't it feel like you have a big sister? I'm curious to know. I know for me, as an actual real life big sister also, even though I guess in a way I'm trying to be like an internet big sister, but in real life I am a big sister. And one of the challenges that I have is that we grew up in very broken homes. So from like the time I have kind of two sets of siblings. I have siblings on my mom's side and I have siblings on my dad's side. On my mom's side, I have a brother and a sister, and on my dad's side, I have a brother and a sister. Younger on both sides. So I'm the oldest on both sides. My parents were together and they had me, and then they divorced and they had, babies with their next spouses. And so I grew up kind of the beginning of my life with my brother and sister on my mom's side, and we were super super close growing up. Obviously, like, I was there when they were born, like I'm holding them when they're little, like babies, and I was jealous of them when I was little because I was the only child for 5 years before they were born, and here they come taking all my attention away. I was the first child and the first grandchild. I was living it up, y'all. And then they came into the picture, not one baby but two babies at one time. I was like, nobody's paying me any attention ever. So that was something I had to get over. My mom wrote me a little jingle and a little song and everything to help me get over it, that I still sometimes sing to this day. But because we don't really have a relationship, she kind of acts like my mom too much. I can only imagine. Maybe one day we'll talk about that more. If you want to share more about that in the comments now, you can. But I could understand that. But for me as a big sister, I grew up my first half of my life with my siblings on my mom's side, and then the second half, yeah, so they stole my mom. They stole my mom. They stole my everybody. My mom, my granny, my uncle. They stole everybody. But I grew up the first half of my life with them, and they were like my world, like my babies. I loved them so much. Like, I loved them so much. And then a series of, I don't know, you could say fortunate or unfortunate events led to me then living with my dad and my dad's side of the family. Now, mind you, when I was living with the siblings that are on my mom's side of the family, I didn't have any contact with my dad or my siblings on that side of the family. I didn't know them. So then at around like 12 years old, going on 13, I moved in with my dad and started living with all of these people that I didn't know any of them. And I then had almost no contact with my siblings from my mom's side. So it's like I'm a big sister who just had to leave the siblings that I've known my whole life, and I am now put in a situation where I am the big sister in a household where nobody knows me. And I had step siblings over there as well, but I was also older than them. So I'm in a big sister in a household full of other people who all grew up their whole lives together who don't know me. And it was a lot. And what ended up happening was I'm not extremely close with any of my siblings on either side because of just that like disruption in the relationship building process. Leaving the siblings that I grew up with myself, and then not being there, I guess, during the pivotal like upbringing moments for the siblings that I moved in with. And it's like, while I love all of my siblings, I feel like a bit of an outsider with everybody. And so, I don't know, that makes it challenging. And then it also makes it challenging because I'm the big sister, so I feel like it's my job for us to all have a relationship. And so part of me feels like I haven't done my job well. But, people remind me that I was a child and there's only so much that I can do. And I'm doing the best that I can in my adulthood. But like most of my siblings, we don't really have a relationship. One of my little brothers on my mom's side, he just had a baby. Well, he didn't have a baby. His fiance had a baby. His soon-to-be wife had a baby. And, like, he and I are getting closer, and that makes my heart really happy. But sibling situations can be really, really hard. Especially when, like Gianna was saying earlier, like, sometimes your siblings maybe are not the healthiest people to be around. And so, like, being a big sister and choosing to, like, not actively engage. I really ain't crying. Let me take a sip of water. Being, like, a big sister and choosing to not actively engage or to not, like, pester or, like, beg somebody to have a relationship with me is, I don't know, it's a challenging situation to be in. And it's not something that I would wish on anybody. Family relationships are tough. Really, really tough. And that's why I talk about them so much. And we'll be talking about them a lot more. Is because, like, I've had to learn a lot of things the hard way. When it comes to family, when it comes to life, when it comes to relationships and all of that kind of stuff. And it's my hope that maybe somebody else will have to learn the hard way. Y'all are so sweet. Esteban says, thanks for opening your heart. And Gianna says, it's not your fault. I feel like it's my fault sometimes. But I had to come to a conclusion where you've done all you can do, and relationships work two ways. It doesn't matter if you're the big sister or not. Relationships work two ways. So I did not expect to come on here today and talk about this. But here we are. Here we are. But yeah, so that's really why I wanted to kind of pivot, because I've always wanted to talk about more than just hair. Hair is really important. Natural hair is really important. Learning to love and embrace your hair is so important. And also, it's always been in my heart to, like, just be in community with other women and to speak with other women and to talk with other women. I feel like we as women are meant to be in community, and we're meant to be together, and we're meant to be able to talk to each other and share our challenges and work through things. And I am thankful that I have a really, really beautiful friend to be able to do that with. And I wish that I had more women to do that with. And I recognize that some people don't have any women to do that with. And so I just really want this to be, I want us all together to kind of build a space where we can be that for each other, where we can kind of be each other's sounding boards and, like, help each other see that, yes, I experience anxiety too. This is what I do. Oh, wow, I didn't realize this is what I do. And I do that same thing. Where we can just come together and understand that we're all normal and we're all going through the same things, and we can help each other get through it together. So I'm planning on talking a lot about people pleasing and boundaries. I want to talk some about budgeting, because I've been in my budgeting bag recently. And for some reason, that's really fun for me. And I don't know. I think as this community grows, and I'm sure I'm going to get some people who are going to stop following me or unsubscribe or whatever, because I'm not going to be only talking about natural hair anymore. And I think that's okay. And so as the community of people who want to see this kind of stuff grows, and who wants to be in a community similar to this one grows, I think we'll have kind of more topics that get brought up and that we get to talk about. So I'm really excited to do that. In the meantime, I'm probably going to be getting nervous before every one of these live feeds, but seeing y'all in here makes my heart very happy. Gianna said, yes, people pleasing. We're going to talk about some people pleasing, because I am a recovering people pleaser. And it's so interesting how, like, people pleasing is so mind trippy. Like, you think you're doing it for other people, and you think that you're pleasing other people and doing what other people want, but and in your mind you're doing that because, like, well, I'm a sweet person, but really it's kind of a manipulation. That's how I got myself to stop people pleasing, is when I realized that people pleasing is kind of a manipulation, because you're pleasing people in order to get them to love you, or to like you, or to want to be around you, or whatever, or to get, like, give you what you want. And that's, I want to talk about that, because I feel like that woke me up, and that helped me to stop people pleasing. It helped me to start having boundaries with people, because people pleasing was also messing up relationships and making my life harder, because I let people walk all over me. I had a day where I was crying to my husband. I was like, I'm just tired. I'm tired of people using me as a punching bag. And he was like, well, babe, the common denominator is you. And I was like, I remember when he said that, I was so pissed off. I was so upset at him for saying that. And then once I was able to calm down and think about it, I was like, he's right. I allow people to use me as a punching bag. And that stops today. I thought I wasn't doing it, but then when I checked it out, I was. Yep. People pleasing is real. I feel like women are like, we're raised to people please or something, because it is always, it's running rampant in our community. It's like, are we taught to people please? Is that what is happening? And I kind of think that it is. Like, oh, go ahead and give your uncle a kiss. Give him a hug. What if I don't want to? People are going to think that I'm a horrible parent, because when we have kids, if my kids don't want to go say hello to somebody, I'm be like, you can stay right here and give them a little wave. You don't got to go give them a hug. I'm not teaching my kid that, they don't have any agency over their body or any personal space, but that's like a whole other thing. So anyways, y'all, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank y'all so much for coming. If ever you do, I'm trying to think. I've been wondering if people are actually like going to use the camera feature where they click the link and can come on the live. I'm going to go back and look and see if there were any comments or something that I missed while on the live. But, yes, this is going to be happening every Friday. So come back next Friday, same time, same place, and we'll be doing this again. I'm going to try to get better about like posting about what we're talking about ahead of time also. So, yeah, look out for that as well. But every Friday, we're going to be here, same time, same place. If you want to come and hang out with us in Discord, if you want to come be a part of my Discord, this is new, y'all. I have not done Discord before, but I've explored like other, I don't even know what they're called. Is anyone here know about Discord and what it's called? Other servers. I've been on other servers. Look at me learning something new. I've been on other servers, and I think it's so cool. It's like they have like just like a whole situation full of like besties. I'm like, I want this. It's not. It can't just be for gamer dudes. I'm always gonna do the lives on here, but for like messaging, chatting, I don't know. We'll see. If it flops, then we won't do it. But if I even get one person in there, then we gonna be in there. We gonna be besties, okay? Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank y'all for interacting. Thank you, Esteban. Thank you, Gianna. Again, a shout out to Melody because you're here in spirit. And I will see y'all next week. I don't know what we're talking about yet. If you have something that you want to talk about, shoot me a message, a DM, or something, and I'll prioritize that. But yeah, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Love y'all. Bye.